Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's rugby view with myself, Aidan and Raftery. And of course, as always, to talk about all things rugby, we have Adrian and Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club. Hello Adrian, how are you? Are you well?
How are you going, Aidan?
Not too
All great now.
not
And
too bad.
as I say, weather and shorter days, it's meaning that you now have to get the floodlights on for early in the evening for games. So
Yeah,
it's great to have them as well.
that's it. And you know what to say about Ireland. It'd be a lovely little country if you could roof it, but there would be a lot of roof and slates required to roof Ireland. But there you go. That'll keep people employed for a good while. But yeah, so I suppose we start off every week like we do with regards to the mini rugby in Craig's Rugby Club.
Yeah, last Saturday, Craig's hosted Sligo Rugby Club. They brought huge numbers to Craig's. So between Craig's and Sligo, you had up on 400 young boys and girls there. So you can imagine 400 arriving on a Saturday morning into a small village like Craig's and getting, the amount of manpower that you need in relation to coaches, in relation to car parks for parents and for people coming with their young boys and girls, and the whole safety question of making sure that everybody is, are safe in that environment as well. So it's a big undertaking, it's a big responsibility, but again, we're fortunate that we have a lot of people willing to take it on, and it was a great outing for all the boys and girls, and it was lovely to see because all the pitches had to be in use, and as you said in your earlier comments there, it'd be great if we could roof it all, but unfortunately some of our grass pitches are beginning to waterlog in certain places with all the rain. So there was a big difference in the people that got the opportunity of playing on the 4G pitch and some of the players that played on the grass pitch. But I think everyone was happy because some of the youngsters nearly prefer to go home good and dirty to mammy to show that they were involved in the rugby. They don't like to have a clean jersey and a clean dogs to say, well, were you playing at all today? When you come back totally clean. So they enjoyed it immensely, and as I said, there's not too much cold out yet that they get cold after the game and wants to get in and get changed. They're fine again. So, but it's fantastic to be able to cater for that amount of kids, and today we had a meeting with all our coaches, with all our youths, everything on integration and in sports, and we had a David McKay down from Northern Ireland, that he's responsible for it at national level, and he was given the course. And again, it just shows the interest in all that, and we're going to, they're taking in that the clubhouse, everything will be looked at, and to see the facilities that Craigs will have eventually to deal with all people with disabilities and so on. So it's an area that IRFU and clubs are looking at, and to be able to facilitate people, and we have spoken before on this program about it, how the enjoyment is at this level. So you have to be geared properly, you have to be trained properly, and that's what the IRFU are putting a fair bit of money and effort into at the present time.
And of course, like I've met him before, David McKay, a lovely guy as well. And I met him obviously at the IRFU, the Inclusion Tag Rugby tournament in Dublin, and of course in Buccaneers at the Mixed Ability Rugby and he's very professional about how he goes and does his job. But I think the great thing is how he gets everyone to row in behind him, and how people are very willing to help out and all that. And I think that is the great thing about the rugby community. When something new like this does come around, there's always loads of volunteers, and I think that's the great thing. I'm not saying it doesn't go on in all sports, but it's really obvious in rugby. Everyone just ties in because it is a great job to see everyone. Everyone getting an opportunity to play the game, be it tag rugby or the 15-a-side game in the mixability format.
It's all about inclusion, Aidan, and keeping everybody involved, and families that have sons or daughters with various disabilities. It's nice that we're able to deal with their particular situation and have the facilities for them. So that's what we're gearing for. And it's when the new clubhouse is fully up and running, that we'll have the coaches up to speed in dealing with the situation as well.
That's it, and wishing you all the best. So I suppose that's the mini rugby taken care of, and the inclusion. And now we're on about we were just talking about off air there, the amount of underage games last weekend, and there was mixed fortunes.
Yeah, we had 13s, 15s, and 17s out last weekend. Our 13s had a win over Ballina. Our under 15s and under 17s went down narrowly to Corinthians and to Carrigan-Shannon. Carrigan-Shannon is a club that we'll speak about them again under a bit about Carrick, but they're doing very well at underage and youth. And again, our under 14 girls had a win over Ballinasloe, a close contested game. But it's great to have girls team up and running within the club, and not alone that, Aidan, but we had 27 girls tagged out for the under 14 game. So that shows the growth in girls rugby within the club as well. And all other clubs that I speak to, there's great numbers coming out. Whether the World Cup had a say in it or not, but the interest, maybe when parents are coming out with their sons, that they bring their daughters and that they're with them and they want to get involved as well. So it's a nice thing that both can be catered for, and that there's competitions now set up at Connacht level to deal with all youths for girls as well as boys. The whole way up from 14, 16s, 18s, up the whole way. And, that's the only way that you're going to grow the game and grow the women's game, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's a slow process. And in order to build up for senior teams within clubs, you have to start at the lower levels and the structure, and to learn them the skills of the game. And it's great, the effort that coaches are putting in, both to boys and girls, and it's showing that when they do even progress up to 16 and 18, how far they have come as a result of playing at mini rugby level and playing at youth level. So they will be in a good place come the day that they'll put on the senior jersey for the club.
And I suppose really, when you think about it, I suppose first and foremost, locally, I suppose from a parent's point of view and a kid's point of view, I mean, to see how successful Craigs have been over the last number of years, both in boys and girls, and indeed men's and women's now as it is, has been over the last years, especially at underage level, the success, and how has come into the first team and the second team now. And I suppose really from a parent's point of view, obviously parents want to get their kids involved in sport as part of a healthier lifestyle for the kids, and it's habits that they get at underage level. We say this every week, kind of, and they develop good habits as they come through system. But also, I suppose another thing will be is the I suppose the facilities that they see at Craig's, but also the quality of coaching. Some people go there and they just watch to see what it's like and all that, and just maybe bring the kids, as you say, or they might have one child maybe playing rugby, and they'll be at training, and they might have another child that might be interested in it. And they say the parents and the kids see the quality of coaching that's going up along, not just the training, but also like when they go to matches and things like that. And then when they look up at the first and seconds team and see, it's like looking at a pathway. You're starting off at we say mainly rugby, and to see the progress that can be made and what they can achieve if they want to take up rugby, and maybe even like going from local and maybe the opportunity to get involved with Connacht at the underage. Both for, and the great thing is the equality. There's tens for boys and girls as well, which is great. So, and now with the women's team as well.
Yeah, you're spot on that, because like not alone can we see the development in our own club, but we can also see the development that a lot of these players are coming through now, that Connacht, for instance, you mentioned there, have development squads, and they're coming at lower ages now, back down to 16s and 17s, and we had and breaking it up into different divisions. There was north and south, southeast of the province there. We hosted one of them on our 4G pitch, Ballina on their 4G pitch hosted the other. And we had another 16s and another 17s. And we had 5 or 6 on each team. And, it's fantastic for them to get that exposure at that level, and to have players of that caliber that you can put into sort of a regional squad. And some of these players will go on, and when they get a taste of it at that level, they know how they can compete against their peers in other clubs. And it will make them keener, and it will also make them, if they want to progress, that they know what they have to do and how they have to develop as a player to get onto the kind of team.
And of course, as well as that, like there's other little opportunities, like maybe a blitz at half time at an Ireland match, or like you said last week, at a Connacht game at half time. If the kids are doing well with their respective Connacht teams, or even like Craig's teams, if they win a thing, that they're introduced to the crowd before matches or at half time. These are all little things that kids love. It's like their day in the sun, like their recognition, and they love that. And of course, that all stands to them as they go along. And the incredible thing are the blitzes at underage, and indeed schools and different things like that. Which is another avenue, like we discussed the importance of the schools and the leagues. I suppose at secondary school level now, that there's the secondary school league, and then the cup that'll be coming up soon, or has already started as well. So it really is.
It's mainly at the beginning of the year, or from now until Christmas. It will be basically league programs for within the schools, within both the boys' schools and the convents and so on. So for the girls, so they're being run off at the moment. There's games every week. Our own CBS, our own convent here in Rosfm, they have been involved in games, in league games on nearly on a weekly basis. That there's teams out now. So there, a lot of these players are involved with Craig's, and they play all their home games out in Craig's. So they have a very close connection, the schools, with the club in Craig's, which is beneficial to both, that we're able to offer them the schools the facilities, and we'll be hoping that these players will continue to play with the club afterwards as well.
That's great, and it's great to see that. And that takes us up to the first team and the second team, or the development team as well. What's the story with them over the last weekend?
Well, they had a free weekend last weekend again, and but they're all gearing up now for this weekend. As I was pointing out in last week's programme that the big game is on this Friday, on this Saturday night. We take on Connemara. It's a game that we have at home in Greg's. It's an early kickoff, 5 o'clock in Greg's, and this is the team that we have a lot of respect for. They have been there at the top of the table for some time. Last year we got the better of them, and we will be hoping that we can do the same again this year. So we'll see how we go at the weekend again. I'm sure they will be out for revenge. Connemara, no more than any of us, they don't like losing, so they'll want to get back to where they were on top. They have been going very well. They have won all their earlier games no more than ourselves. So this will be a crunch game on Saturday evening. So we'll be hoping to see a big turnout from all around Rosfm and Craig's and all the areas around at the game. And Connemara, when they come to Craig's, they always draw a big crowd. They bring a big crowd. There'll be a couple of buses over from Clifton on the night themselves. So you can expect to see a big crowd in Craig's on Saturday evening.
And of course, as always, like this is a fixture that, like when you look at the fixtures, I suppose Craig's versus Connemara. It's one of those fixtures. It's kind of like, I suppose, the Manchester Derby or the Merseyside Derby. One team brings out the best in the others, and that's what makes these games great games to watch as well. Not kind of in a dirty way, but just like it's nearly like a higher plane, isn't it? Really, they just really up teams up their game.
If you talk to any Craig's players, or if you talk to any of the Connemara players, they all see this one as the big one, and they all lift their performances for it. And it's where players would be maybe, or the team would be only playing middling up, leading up to it. Come the particular game, every player has to come up to the mark, or they'll be showing up on the night. So it's important that all the players are clued in fully into the game. And there is, as you rightly says, there's good respect between the two clubs, but there, at the end of the day, it's the case when you get out there, when you put on that jersey, you have to put in the performance. And these players are very familiar with one another, because Connemara and Craig's have made up the bulk of the Connacht junior team for the last couple of years. So all these players would be friends when they be playing with Connacht. But on Saturday evening, I think that it could be different with different jerseys on them. So when the maroon of Craig's and the black of Connemara come, it'll be a different story. And our seconds are back up and running on Sunday. There will be playing away to Claremorris in a friendly, and it's nice of Claremorris. They have obliged us and having a friendly game. And the seconds, a decision has been made at Connacht Rugby that they're going to have restructured the league as a result of some two teams, one team being amalgamated, Oughterard and Boys Club are coming together as one team in the league, and Buccaneers thirds are unable to field a third side, so they have pulled out of the league. So it's great to see now that a decision has been made by Connacht Rugby that they'll be able to get home and away. So that will mean that the club will, the seconds team will get a lot of genuine more games, league games. They'll get a minimum of 10 games. So that's with the final in the end. So that's something to aim for. It's going to give more commitment for players and for coaches to get a second development team out on the pitch. It will be probably ran off nearly on a weekly basis now, particularly from now until Christmas.
That's it. And I suppose moving on then to the AIL League, and that's teams like Buccaneers, Carrick-on-Shannon, Sligo, teams like that, and the Corinthians and Galwegians and all that. So how have things been going on that front?
Yeah, Buccaneers had a big day last weekend, as I said last week, that they were honouring Leo Galvin with a function prior to the game against Old Belvedere. There was as well as the pre-match, they also had a mini rugby team down from Old Belvedere as well. So against Buccaneers. Unfortunately, Buccaneers first are on a very bad run so far this season. They have lost all their initial games, so it's a tough situation for Buccaneers first team at the minute. And again, their underage structure and all is going well, and we'd like to see that their first team. Belvedere would be quite a strong team, but we'd be hoping that Buccaneers will get a few results in the next couple of weeks, this side of Christmas. Their under 20s was away against Greystones. Under 20s had been going very well up until last weekend. Again, they lost out to Greystones, but again they have a good under 20 side, and needless to say that I can see that they'll get back on. It was a game that they probably could have won, and they'll learn from their mistakes at that level. Carrick-on-Shannon is still going well. They're in the same league as our second, so they will benefit from the decision of Connacht Rugby to have extra games, as well as they've only the one senior team within the club. So they will need to have extra games, and they were very much on for increasing the number of games in the league. Their youth structure, as I said earlier, is going extremely well. They have a great under 17 team, under 18 team. These teams have been worked on, as we were talking earlier, in relation to the structure coming through from mini rugby under 13s, under 14s upwards, and now they're proving that they're on a winning run with their under 16s, under 17s, under 18s. So it's great to see that in Carrick. And Sligo is still going well. They have a strong women's team there, but they were defeated by Westport. But their first team is mixed. The mixed results. But the whole idea is within Sligo is that they probably are in a division that they will be safe, that they won't be relegated out of it. They have won a number of their earlier games at the beginning of the season, so they're doing well. Ballina got their first home win at the weekend. Corinthians had a good win, and Galwegians as well. So, kind of teams in general did quite well in the IL. So again, it's early days yet, but at the same time, they want to get particularly in Buccaneers' case, they want to get a result or two this side of Christmas to lead into the second part of the IL after Christmas.
That's it. I suppose, from the point of view of Buccaneers, it's kind of like when you see the heights of and how well they did last year, and you see how they're doing this year. It's like, is it just the case that they're kind of getting used to the new manager, or because I mean the core of the squad is there from last year, so it's just a matter of. You'd imagine coming in seamlessly and kind of continuing with that squad. But then again, I suppose different managers have different ideas as well. But I wonder what is that kind of thing that made the difference, that they were doing well last year and they're kind of not doing well. I suppose injuries still very early in the season.
It's a tough division, and it's when they have the development players free from Connacht, they're able to put out a stronger side, and when they're not available to them, they're struggling a bit. So that's the what they have to balance is in relation to have enough of homegrown players themselves to be able to fulfil the fixtures, and then when the development players come from Connacht to strengthen their side, that they make use of them. So that's the way in relation to the club scene. Connacht had a great comeback, let's say, at the weekend, last Saturday evening in the sports ground. A fabulous turnout, a great evening for rugby. The game, I tell you, didn't look good at half time when we were down 20 points to 3 against Ulster, and Ulster was playing a lot of the rugby. We had a number of chances early on in the first half, but we didn't take them, and you paid the price. And Ulster came back at us and put up 20 points against us, but Connacht came out a different team in the second half. Got 3 tries and conversions, and again, to come away with 22-20 of a win, it was a good result, good comeback. It showed that the heads didn't go down. It showed that we can do it, but why it's not going to be good enough during the season when a lot of these other teams have all their international players back, because the Ulster team had a very young side out against Connacht, and Connacht will have to keep their defence lines. They want to improve on the defence lines, and just to be, they seem to be able to penetrate other teams, and their 2 centres scored 2 great tries on Saturday evening. And this weekend now could be a different game for them. They travel away to Scotland to play Edinburgh. They already have defeated Glasgow in the sports ground, so this will be another test for them now against Edinburgh this weekend. Now this will be a tough battle because Edinburgh will have their international players back, and it could be a very strong Edinburgh side that could be out against Connacht.
But I suppose really when you look at the Scottish sides compares to like Ulster, Leinster and Munster, I suppose the Scottish side do present a different type of challenge for Connacht, and indeed the other provinces as well in the URC, don't they?
Yeah, mainly because you see the URC. Scotland has only 2 teams in it, so Scotland, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. So it means that all the international players, are really spread over the two clubs. So that means that they're going to be a stronger team when they have all their internationals back. So that a lot of our players are far off international level, but they don't lack the spirit and they don't lack the commitment. So that shows the success of Connacht over the last number of years, that they have been as successful, like we would say, for a small club running on a small budget comparison to other clubs, that we are really punching above our weight within Connacht.
And I suppose really when you look at that, I mean, it was great. We still have some of our Ireland internationals to come back as well, so that'll really bolster it, when they come back in. And I know, like Jack Carty, he was kind of a doubt, but I think he was definitely in the squad for that game last weekend, so that was a huge plus. Obviously, like we said,
Jack started the team and started the game, played the full game. Yeah, I'm glad to see Jack back, and as I said, he's main stronghold within the team, and Keelan Blade, his partner at scrum half, is playing exceptional rugby. He's playing out his skin at the present time. The 2 centres are very strong and working very well together. So you can imagine that Bundy will be having to fight for his place. But needless to say that maybe one of the other players will be able to be accommodated somewhere else within the team. But it's great to see the new coaching team gelling well together within Connacht. It's great to see new players that have come into the team playing very well. And as you rightly says, we have the couple of internationals now to come back into the side as well. So all is looking good. That this time last year we were struggling. That we had to play most of our earlier games away because the grounds were being developed at the time. This year we started off now with 3 home games and having got 3 wins, and we topped the URC table going into this weekend.
That's a great thing, and I think that that's the difference maybe between this season and we say previous seasons. The players seem to be gelling. They're playing a good, I suppose, a more suitable style of rugby, and of course, the quality of the squad has improved, and that's great to see the strength and depth that they have this year. And of course, look, they have some great development squads as well, and the academy as well, which is great. So, listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to do Rugby View with us, Adrian, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club and myself talking about all things rugby.